Namaste Gurukulians. Hope you all are fine, fit and enjoying at your homes and side by side studying also. So, this lecture is the lecture number 2 of the second chapter of class 9th named Matter. Is matter around us pure? Are they pure or they impure? So, in the lecture number 1, what we discussed? We discussed about what is a mixture, what is an element, a compound. We just made a table at the last of the video lecture that where I specified that matter, classify matter into two things. What? Pure substance as well as mixture. Then again these pure substance into elements and compounds, and on the other side mixture, that is homo and hetero. Further we classify the elements into three types: metals, second one is non-metals, and the third is metalloids. Okay, so this is just a brief summary of lecture number 1. So, in today's lecture what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about what is a difference between a solvent, solution, what is the difference between solution, colloids as well as suspensions. Okay. So, now the heading is solution. So, what is a solution? Solution means a homogeneous mixture of two components. What I said? A homogeneous. Term is homo. Homogeneous mixture of two things. What are these two things? They are known as solute and solvent. What is solute and solvent? So, in solution, the definition of solution is, it is the homogeneous mixture of two components. One is solute and the another one is solvent. So, this is known as what? This is known as solution. For example of solution. Bachche, just look at your surroundings. Okay, in the kitchen, mainly in the kitchen. Okay, when you are going to prepare the lemonade, or you can say that the nimbu pani, what you are going to do? Firstly, you are going to mix sugar and water. On continuous stirring with the spoon, after some time what you will see? That the sugar particles, they completely dissolves in what? Water. And the same is the case with when salt is dissolved in water. Okay, so that means sugar and water, it consists of sugar solution, because after dissolution you are not able to see the sugar particles or the salt particles. That's the term is homogeneous. Bache, we have already discussed this term in the previous lecture, that is lecture number 1. Okay. So, solution is this. Now, the next term is about these two components. So, what is a solute and what is a solvent? So, the first is solute. Listen to me very carefully. The thing, what I said, the thing that is going to dissolve. Supposedly, I am having water. Okay, this is a conical flask. Okay, this is a conical flask and this is a beaker. I am having water in this conical flask. Okay, I am going to pour some water in the beaker and I am going to add some salt in it. But this apparatus is known as test tube. Okay, so these are the apparatus that are available in the chemistry lab of our school. So this is a test tube. I am having common salt. Common salt is NaCl, that is in chemistry known as sodium chloride. Very good. So, if I am going to add some salt into the beaker, okay, and I am going to stir it. I am going to what? Stir it. You can stir it with the glass rod. I am not having this one, so I am just going to stir it with the test tube. So, on stirring for some time, you will see that the salt is going to be completely soluble in water. So this salt solution, okay, now the salt is completely soluble, okay. So this is now what? Salt solution. So the salt I added, the salt which I added is solute. The thing which is going to dissolve, okay, is known as solute. So here in both the cases, solute is salt and sugar. Now the next one is solvent. The next term is beta solvent. So solvent, what is a solvent in a solution? The water, okay, as you can see now, all the particles, all the common salt is dissolved in this water, okay. Now the water in the beaker, before adding the salt, this is known as what? Solvent. That means the thing in which this solute is going to dissolve is known as solvent, and in both the cases the solvent is water itself, okay. Water is solvent, and when we added salt, the thing which is going to dissolve, जो घुलने वाली है, वो क्या है? Solute. And the substance in which the solute is going to dissolve is known as solvent. जिसमें घुलने वाली है, उसे क्या बोलते हैं? Solvent. Okay. So in general, the amount of solute is less as compared to that of water. Okay. We dissolve a small amount of salt into a large quantity of water comparatively. Okay. So this is about a solution and its two components. So now the next thing here is, a question should raise in your mind that, ma'am, the amount of solute, is it going to affect solution? Okay. That means if I am going to add 1 spoon of salt in 1 glass of water, and on the second side in another glass 2 spoons of salt in water, these both are solution, they both are what? Solution. But how I am going to distinguish, or how I am going to differentiate the two solutions? On what basis I can separate? They both are having solvent what? Same, that is water. The substance which I am going to dissolve, that means solute, that is also same in both the cases, like salt. So how I am going to differentiate the two? The differentiation will be based on the term concentration. Concentration of a solution means what, beta? It means amount of what? Amount of solute present in solvent. That means we are going to distinguish the two solution based on the amount of salt that is present in them. Okay, that means in both the cases the concentration is different because the amount of solute we added, first one is 1 spoon and in the second 2 spoons. That means amount of solute is different. So that's why concentration is different. Concentration is different. So just tell me, in both the cases the concentration of which glass is high? Obviously in which the amount of solute is high. More the solute you are going to add, more concentrated the solution is going to become. Okay. So now this concentration, we further classified the concentration based upon mass by mass percentage. Second is mass by volume percentage. Third is volume by volume percentage. Mass by mass, that means in which the formula, firstly the formula is mass of what? Solute divided by mass of solution into 100. In these cases, in mass by mass concentration term, we are going to take the mass of both. That means the mass of solute and in denominator the mass of solution. The main thing here is solution. Here you are not going to use the term solvent. Okay, I am going to clarify it by taking an example or a numerical part. Okay, so till now just the formula is the mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100. Now the mass by volume. first thing stands for solute, second is for solution. So the first thing is mass, that means mass of what? Numerator, that means solute divided by, it is mass by volume, that means here what will come? The volume of solution, and it is a percentage mark, so multiply by 100. Getting my point? The next term is volume by volume. Here what we are going to take? The mass or the volume of solute? Volume of solute. So the volume of solute divided by what? Volume of solvent or solution? Solution. Very good. Solution into 100. So you need not to cram the formulas. Okay, just focus here. Mass by mass. Is it a mass by volume or is it a volume by volume percentage? Okay. So this is regarding the concentration term. Okay. So now I am going to discuss a numerical here. Very easy numerical. Okay. If I am going to tell you that I am having NaCl. What is NaCl? Already discussed. Common salt. If I am having 32 gram, to make the calculation easy, okay, just take it as 10. If I am having 10 gram of NaCl and I am going to add it into H2O is water, and I am going to add it 90 gram of water, that means the percentage. Now just calculate the mass by mass percentage of NaCl. Formula is the mass of NaCl and the mass is 10 gram. Very good. And divided by, in denominator, the mass of solution, but this is the mass of only solvent. Okay, so the mass of solution is equals to mass of solute plus mass of solvent. Here what is solute? NaCl, that is going to dissolve, that means 10 gram, plus solvent here is 90 gram. So overall the weight of solution, it will become 100 grams. Most of the student, they did a mistake here. Okay, this is the main point you should remember, and it should be clear in your mind that here we are going to take the mass of solution, and the mass of solution is the mass of solute and the mass of solvent. But you just see here, suppose karo that in the beaker I am having what? 90 gram of water, and I added 10 gram of salt, as you have already seen. Okay, just hypothetically imagine it. So now the mass of this solution, it will 90 or 100? It is 100, because now the 10 gram of salt is also present in the solution and 90 gram of water is also there. So if I am going to calculate the concentration of the salt which I added before, then 10 divided by total is 90 plus 10, that is 100. So this kind of numerical you will see in your book. Okay, so this is regarding the concentration of a solution. How we are going to classify? What? The solution, the two types of solution in which the solute and the solvent is same. Very good. So now further in solution form. Okay, in solution what we are going to discuss now, there is a term that is saturated solution, okay, unsaturated solution, and the third is super saturated solution. What is super saturated solution? They are very important terms. Okay, there is no need to be confused. I am going to tell you simple example that is going to differentiate these three things. Listen to me very carefully. Okay, if I am going to say that this is the water, I told you that I am able to dissolve only 10 spoon of salt into that water. What I said? I am able to dissolve only 10 spoons of salt in this water. That means if I am going to add 11th spoon of salt, it is not going to dissolve in it. It is not going to dissolve in it. Yani ki that means the maximum amount of, what I said, maximum amount of, that means I am having this glass filled with water. Maximum it will dissolve 10 spoons. 11th spoon, it's not going to dissolve in it. So now listen to me very carefully. When no more solute is going to dissolve in the solution, then the solution will become saturated. That means beta, जब आपके सॉल्वेंट में सोल्यूट डिजोल्व होना बंद हो जाए, दैट मीन्स अब जितना सोल्यूट उसमें डिजोल्व हो सकता था, मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ सोल्यूट दैट कैन बी डिजोल्व, इट इज ऑलरेडी डिजोल्व. यू कांट dissolve more solute in that. That solution is known as saturated solution. That means no more solute, no more solute can be dissolved in solution, or you can say that in solvent. But here the key term is at same, or you can say that at constant temperature. That means I am not going to heat this solution. Supposedly the room temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, so 10 spoons they become easily soluble, but 11th spoon is not going to solubilize, okay, is not going to dissolve in it. The temperature remains the same. I am not going to heat that solution, so that solution is saturated. बच्चे मतलब 11वीं जो आपने स्पून डाली सॉल्ट की वो डिजोल्व नहीं हो रही, दैट मीन्स सेचुरेटेड सॉल्यूशन. अब उसकी सेचुरेशन हो गई, अब वो और ज़्यादा सोल्यूट डिजोल्व नहीं करेगा. द नेक्स्ट इज अनसेचुरेटेड सॉल्यूशन. नेम सजेस्ट अनसेचुरेटेड, दैट मीन्स स्टिल नाउ number of sorry beta solute can be added. Spoons, number of spoons of solute can be added. Example same. Maximum it will dissolve 10. That means up to 9th spoon. Up to 9th spoon, the solute is dissolved in solvent, completely dissolved in solvent. So this solution hasn't reached to that saturated point, so known as unsaturation. That means बेटा glass of water था, 9 spoons आपने डाल दिए, वो soluble हो रहे हैं, 10th spoon भी soluble हो रहा है, but 11th नहीं हो रहा. That means 11th डालने पर क्या है, 10th तक वो attain कर चुका क्या अपनी saturation point. Up to 9th it is still unsaturated. Super saturated solution. Super saturated means when I am going to supply heat to the saturated solution. Saturated क्या था बच्चे कि अब और dissolve नहीं होगा, but when you are going to provide heat, when you are going to raise the temperature, supposedly the temperature now is 35 degrees Celsius. Now the 11th spoon is also soluble. That means on heating you are able to dissolve that 11th spoon of sugar, or sorry, of salt in the same amount of water. That means now the solution jumped to its saturated point. So now it has become a super saturated solution. So here the temperature is constant or not constant? It is not constant, because what we did, we just raised the temperature by supplying heat. Getting my point? So these are the 3 crucial terms and a very important terms. Saturated solution, that means no more solute can be dissolved. Unsaturated solution, that means now you can dissolve the solute in it and this solution hasn't reached to its saturated point. Super saturated, jumped that saturation point, okay, just by heating you are now able to dissolve what, the 11th spoon of salt in the same amount of water. So this is all about solution. The 2 terms related to solution is, now I am going to make a difference between these 2 terms with the solution part, and side by side I am going to show you an activity. Okay, so now what we will discuss? Solution, first thing, colloids, the second one, and what? Suspension. The third is beta suspension. Okay. Colloids and suspension. So the main difference between the three. Firstly, you will be able to find out the difference just by taking an example. Science is all about taking an examples. Okay. So just in the very beginning we will discuss an example. In solution, the example is salt and water. In colloids, it is milk, and in suspension it is what beta? Sand and water. Okay. So just keep these examples in your mind. Firstly, salt and water. What I discussed in solution. You need not to cram any property over here. Okay. Just by taking the example and just imagining it. Okay. Just imagine when we are going to dissolve salt in water, what the solution is going to appear. Okay. How it is going to reflect the light. Now we will discuss. So firstly is a solution, that is salt and water. Already done. What we did, we just dissolve an amount of salt into this water. So just by seeing this, what you are going to tell me that ma'am, this solution is clear. That means uniform distribution of particle, and the term is homogeneous. That means solution are homogeneous in nature. First thing, are you able to see the particle of NaCl in it? Are you able to see? No, I am not able to see the particle of NaCl. That means particles are small. That means particles are small. Can't be seen by naked eyes. The size of the particles is beta even less than 1 nanometer. Okay, 10 raised to the power minus 9 meter. So just think about it, how small the particles are. Okay. Third thing, okay, it is light in the room. So you can perform the activity in a very dark room. Just try to pass the light, or you will have the flashlight on your phone. Just try to pass that flashlight or the laser light into the solution. The path of that light is not going to be displaced. That means the particles, they are very small, so they are not able to scatter the light. Getting my point? When the light is going to scatter, supposedly this is a particle and the light is coming. Light is only going to scatter when the size of particle is large. So just by striking, it will reflect. If the size of the particle is very small, the light will come and will go without any deflection. Okay, because it is not going to create any hindrance in the path of light. So this is about the scattering. So are they going to scatter the light in solution? No, because they are very small. And one new term I am going to introduce here is Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. It is nothing, just we discussed here is, that means scattering of light by particles. Scattering of what? Light by particles is known as what? Tyndall effect. So in solution, no Tyndall effect is there because the particles are small and they are not going to reflect anything. Now the next term, they are homogeneous, the particles are very very small and they are not going to show any Tyndall effect. The next term here is solution is stable. Solution is stable, and from stability what I meant, that after dissolution the salt particles are not going to settle down. Okay, that means it is stable. If something is going to settle down after some time, that means that particular solution is unstable. So the solution here is stable. The particle of NaCl is not going to settle down. The next term is filtration. The next term is filtration. So bachche, this is a filter paper. Okay, and what I am going to do, I am just going to separate, or I am going to filter that thing. Conical funnel. Okay, so I am going to place that filter paper. This is a conical flask, already discussed. If I am going to pour this salt solution into this beaker, after some time, okay, now the filtration process is going on. These particles, the particle of what? NaCl, they are very small, so they easily penetrate through the pores of this filter paper, and we are not able to separate the solute. What the solute is? Solute is salt. That means we are not able to separate the salt from the solution just by filtration. That means filtration process doesn't work. Getting my point? So now here, this is all about a solution. Just by taking the example, you can easily identify its properties. The next is, beta, the next term is colloid. So the example of colloid is milk. Why I said milk? Because bachche, on appearance, just by seeing this milk, what you will say? It is homogeneous. As you are not able to see the two distinct particles in it, okay, it appears to be homogeneous. That means just by seeing on appearance, appear homo, but actually it is hetero, because on heating the milk or on boiling the milk, what you will get? A layer of what you said, malai, okay. So a layer will come, a layer of proteins and all the nutrients will come on the surface. And from where that layer come? From this milk. That means they are having that particles in it, but we are not able to see that particles. So in appearance it is homo, but actually it is hetero. Second thing, are the particles seen? Can you see it with your naked eyes? No, we can't see. That means can't see with naked eyes. They are small. The next we discussed about is Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. Can you tell me the answer whether they are going to show the Tyndall effect? That means if I am going to pass a beam of light, is this light is going to scatter? No, it's not going to scatter. Or is it going to scatter? Think about it. I said the particles are small and can't be seen by the naked eyes, but bachche, when you are going to perform this activity, you will see that the light is going to scatter. And why they are going to scatter? Because the particles, although they can't be seen by the naked eyes, but the particles are capable enough to scatter the light, capable enough to scatter light and show Tyndall effect. Same thing, okay, just in solution. On the filter paper I am not going to get anything. Okay, there is no salt on the filter paper, so we can't separate the solution just by using the filter paper. Same thing I am going to do with the milk. Okay, let's see, with the help of filter paper, are we able to separate the two particles? Okay, it will take some time, okay, then we will discuss it later on. So particles are capable to scatter the light. Yes, they are. As particles can be separated with filtration process? No, colloidal particles can't be separated just by filtration. You will see, okay, as you can see, the drop of what? Milk. The drop of milk is coming down. That means the whole particles of the milk, they are going to penetrate through this filter paper. So we are not able to segregate the things. Third and the main is what? Suspension. Sand in water. So again I am going to pour, here you can see in the test tube also, okay, I poured some sand and the water. If I am going to shake it, the particles, they are going to, firstly they will be in upward direction, but after some time, just because of gravity, they will settle down in the bottom and you will see a crystal clear water on the surface. That means this solution, this phase is known as suspension, when the particles are suspended in the water and after some time they will settle down. After settlement, it is no more suspension, only this phase when the particles are circulating in the water, this phase is suspension. So in suspension, hetero or homo? Bachche, it is hetero, because you will easily see the two different particles and the two different things present in it. Okay, heterogeneous. Next is, are the particle visible to you? Yes, we can see it with our naked eyes. There is a sand particles and this is the water. So yes, they are visible with your naked eyes. The third is the particles, are they going to scatter any beam of light? Bachche, in the suspended form, yes, they are going to scatter. In the settled form, they are not going to show any Tyndall effect, but in the suspension form, when they are suspended in the particles, they are going to show what? They are going to show the Tyndall effect. And are we able to separate the two things? Let's see. Are we able to separate? Yes, we will easily separate it by the filter paper. The water is going to be down and we are going to have the sand particles on the filter paper. In the milk, it's not going to happen. The whole milk is going to be penetrate through the filter paper. So, in colloid, we can't separate with the filtration. So, how we are going to separate? We are going to separate by centrifugation. We will discuss it later on in this very same chapter, okay? Centrifugation process. Tyndall effect, in the case of suspension, yes, they are going to show the Tyndall effect. Are they separable? Are they separable? Yes, they are separable just by filtration. Just by filtration. So, these are the main differences between these three things, okay? So, difference between solution, difference between colloids and difference between suspension. So, in the textual question, okay, as you can see on the page number 18 of your book, there are three textual questions. First is differentiate between homo and heterogeneous mixture, already discussed, okay. The second one, how are sol stands for colloid. The another name of colloid is sol and solution is true solution. So, solution sol. How are sol and solution and suspension different? As you can see on the board, and to make a saturated solution of 36 gram, the solute quantity is 36 gram, water is 100 gram, okay. So, mass by mass निकालेंगे बच्चे तो कैसे निकालेंगे? 36 divided by 100 or 136, it is 136 into 100, okay. And there is a table on the same page number. I will send you the pic in the WhatsApp group, okay, of this table. So, in this table there are various examples of colloids, that dispersing phase, dispersing medium. Okay, one thing I just forgot is beta, in colloid, like here in solution, what are the two things? Solute and solvent. And in colloid, the two things are dispersing medium as well as dispersing phase. Medium stands for solvent and phase stands for solute, okay. So, this is a complete lecture, second lecture of this very chapter, where we discussed about all the solute, solvent, solution, homo, hetero, as well as suspension, colloids, differentiation between the suspension and colloids, okay. So, this is the thing, you can perform these activities, it is very easy, you can perform the activity at your homes. If you are not having the filter paper, you can use a cotton cloth, okay. So, it will be easy for you to distinguish, okay beta. All the best, good luck and work hard. Thank you.